Welcome to Codex, History of Video Games. My name's Tyler Osby.
And I'm Mike Coletta. I was trying a new dance. I don't know how I feel about it.
Like, you got a brand new dance.
Yeah, I mean, the Vogue GIF. We both been gift.
We've been gift, yeah.
With our voguing. It was pretty great. Feels good. Right. So this episode is going to be a little off the rails, which I'm kind of excited about.
Yeah, so, we're going to try something.
We're going to talk a little bit about Mortal Kombat because I have some more stuff to say about it. And I want to I have an idea for something we could try to do after watching it last week. And then we're going to do a mailbag of the stuff because we haven't done a mailbag in like 2 months. And it's
been a little while.
It's added up and we should have done this a while ago. So that's why if you were like, you didn't make the call for mailbag stuff like you normally do, we have so much stuff to talk about. So we're just going to try to go through. So real quick, I'm going to just talk about Mortal Kombat real quick. So if you didn't listen to the commentary last week, this is going to kind of be a little like, this is what happened, the TLDR version, and also our thoughts on it. But I thought it would be fun to do a grime facts for the movie. So I made little movie grime facts here. So it was directed by Paul W.S. Anderson. It was written by Kevin Droney is the name of the writer for the movie. But I believe Ed Boon and John Tobias, who are the video game writers that helped create Mortal Kombat, are credited in the film as well.
As they should be.
Yep, as they should be. It was released on August 18th, 1995. I see right now you can stream it on Max. If you have Max, that's probably the best way to watch it. But, you know, there's other ways you can rent it on Amazon. It's a movie. You know how to get a movie. You can find movies anywhere. Mm-hmm. The budget is $20 million, which isn't that big of a movie budget.
What's the inflation? So this is $1995. Hold on.
Yeah, you can do the inflation
calculator.
Because it made $122.2 million. So it was very much a success financially.
20 million.
Yeah, so I want to know what the budget is in today's dollars. And then I want to know how much it box officed in today's dollars, too.
Oh, I can only use values less than $10 million. That's weird. Okay, well, I'll put in 10 and then we'll double it.
That works.
Almost 21 million. So $42 million by today's.
It'd be $42 million by today's standards. Okay.
Yeah.
So then that's actually, so yeah. And it made like, so in theory, it might've been doubled probably.
Yeah. Yeah. About doubled.
Yeah. So then, okay. So it made like 200 and something million in today's money. That's pretty
almost
good.
250 million. Yeah.
Yeah. Almost
a quarter of $1 billion.
Yeah. That's pretty good. So it was a financial success. The genre, it's an action adventure movie. It's got some comedic elements though. You know, it's pretty funny. Sure. Johnny Cage gets into some weirdness there.
Some shenanigans. Yeah.
He does the splits. It's not a big deal. Average time to complete was 101 minutes long. I left it as average time to complete.
Average time. Well, hey, some people probably stop it before it's over. Some people pause it and spend a lot more time watching it than
people that watch the whole credits.
Yep. So it all averages out to 101 minutes, I think.
The Metacritic score, though, 60 out of 100. So not horrible, but it's just kind of okay. And that's kind of, is that how you would describe the movie? Just kind of okay?
It's a movie that you see it on TV on a Sunday afternoon and you go, oh yeah, I forgot they made that. I haven't watched that movie in like 15 years. Yeah, okay, sure. I'll watch it. And then you put it on in the background while you're like cleaning the house or something.
Yeah. And then you're like, okay, this is pretty good. So I love the movie. I have an actual like nostalgia for this movie, and I think it's really nice and fun and silly. But I also recognize that this is not a movie that I can get most people to watch. Not.
Yeah, and I have zero nostalgia for this movie. I didn't play the games growing up, and I probably didn't even know this movie existed till 10 or 15 years after it came out. So
yeah,
I just watched it as if it were a movie.
It's a beautiful thing, though. It's a beautiful thing. So here's what I want to do, Tyler. I have the plot description here, but I haven't actually like written anything for it because I think it would be a fun game for you and I to piece together the plot of the movie by what we remember from last week.
Okay.
So you can just jump in here with what I'm thinking. Okay. So international fighting, not international,
not intergalactic,
interdimensional fighting competition. Because and there's 10, the rule is, the evil emperor has this contest every millennia, I think.
Every generation.
Every generation. Okay. And for 10 generations. And if the humans lose 10 times, then their world is invaded. and the Emperor takes over.
And the idea is that the Emperor has been going around to many different worlds, and
Yes.
it's like 10 generations. Every generation, we're going to fight you. If we beat you 10 times in a row, you become assimilated and part of whatever our
it's kind
kingdom,
of a
right?
weird way to run an empire, but it appears to be working for the
yeah. So now they're here at Earth.
Mm-hmm.
And we have lost 9 times so far.
So this is for all the marbles essentially, and it sounds like we lost because they're super evil and scary.
And probably cheating.
So then we have our 3 heroes: Johnny Cage, Liu Kang, and then oh my gosh, Sonya Blade. I'm trying to go off memory here. Okay.
Yep. Very different people. Johnny Cage, he's an actor from LA, like a kung fu actor. He knows how to fight, at least knows how to fight enough for on screen.
The subplot is that people think he doesn't know how to fight, but he really does know how to fight. But he really does. So he's proving himself here.
Yeah, that's his own thing that he needs to do in this tournament is prove to himself and to other people that he can fight.
He has his own insecurities he's dealing with.
Right.
Johnny Cage does. And then Liu Kang is destined to fight in this contest from a generic, like,
he had a dream that said he needed to fight in this contest.
Well, his brother soul got sucked out of his body. So it's like
that's right. They do a lot of soul sucking in this.
They're really into soul sucking in the movie. That's 100% true. And then Sonya Blade is after a villain named Kato, and she's trying to kill Kato for revenge of killing her partner, and that's why she gets sucked into the contest. But
and she's special forces. She's like military.
Yeah,
she's Sam Fisher type.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's like that's pretty much the plot. And then they fight it out and stuff happens.
And the fights just seem to happen almost randomly, like random encounters in a game. It's just like you'll be somewhere in this weird interdimensional thing, and then a fight breaks out, and I guess time to fight.
Yeah, and then you fight, and it's designed like the game where it's like match after match after match is how they do like the whole middle of the movie, which is kind of interesting. Mm-hmm. Fun fact, by the way. You know when Johnny Cage is in that forest with all the trees that are lined up?
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, there is a frame where if you wait and pause it, you can see a car driving in the background of that forest. I looked this up on trivia and we missed it.
Oh, like man.
You know how in like Game of Thrones, they had like a coffee cup on set or something like that? It's like that kind of thing where they missed it. And I think it's really funny. So,
oh man, and in 1995, that would have been like, maybe they didn't even miss it. They were just like, you know what, people won't notice. There's nothing we can do.
There's nothing we can do about it. We're not going to reshoot it. We don't have the budget. We don't have the budget
but in Game of Thrones, they're like, whatever, just Photoshop. We can.
They digitally remove it or whatever. That's so funny. But the other piece of trivia I learned from this is because you have your Scorpion, your Sub-Zero, and your Reptile. Your three big ones. I said 4 right there in the camera, but it's fine. And those characters, I learned this: the actor who plays Scorpion actually was cast as the stunt person for the movie, and he looked so good and did such a good job as Scorpion, they just left him as the actor. Like, so they just paid a stunt man to be the actor for Scorpion.
Dang. What about the actual actor who was there? Like, they get into shooting and they're like, you know what, we're just gonna go with the stunt man. You can go home.
I guess. I don't know. It's just a piece of trivia I read for it. The guy's name, because I wrote the cast list name down, is Chris Casamassa, plays Scorpion.
That's a good name. Chris Casamassa.
It is it's a good name. And so, yeah, that's kind of the plot of the whole thing. I mean, I'm not going to spoil to you what happens, but you know, it's one of those movies where you can kind of guess probably what's going on.
Yeah, it's not meant to surprise you here. It's just meant to be a fun thing for people who like Mortal Kombat. And I guess maybe they thought they're sort of buying a lottery ticket of like, well, what if this thing blows up and we make 8 million Mortal Kombat movies, which this director did go on to do and make 8 million Resident Evil movies.
That's true. They were really getting into the video game movie market, and they did a good job. Also, I mean, we have Mortal Kombat Annihilation as the sequel, so there was a sequel to this movie too.
And that came out like 3 years ago. That was pretty new, right?
No, Mortal Kombat Annihilation is the movie after this one. That
came out you're right. Yeah.
And then that was a remake. The reboot for Mortal Kombat was Scorpion's story, which was like a couple of years ago on HBO.
That's right. Yeah.
I think they even made a third Mortal Kombat movie after Annihilation that just was like so forgettable that it's just not around.
We collectively forgot about it as a species.
Pretty much, yeah. So I kind of want to talk about each character here and just say what our favorite things about them were. You ready? Lord Raiden.
Oh, his accent, Christopher Lambert. Yeah, dude.
That's my favorite part.
And also, his hair, his like long white hair, Gandalf
hair. The hair in this movie is impeccable, which leads us right into Liu Kang, who has the greatest feathered haircut I've ever seen. Just beautiful feathered hair.
Never gets messed up in the fights.
Yeah. Also, I appreciate that in the one scene he does the kick move where he just flies through the air kicking, just like in the game, and it just seems to fit. It's good, and it looks just as goofy as you think it does. Okay, yeah. Johnny Cage, comic relief, was pretty good. I like
that. If I can find an image of Liu Kang
of Liu Kang's feathered hair. That's good. Okay, you know who steals this movie for me though is Shang Tsung. Shang Tsung, the bad guy. Good, great villain. Solid villain. Also, when someone is like, you know what, this script is not that great, probably, and this story is not that great, but I'm gonna act so hard in this movie that I'm gonna, and the actor who plays Liu Kang, or who plays Liu Kang too, but plays Shao Kahn or Shang Tsung, sorry. Shao Kahn, that's from a different...
Here we go. I got the feathered hair for Liu Kang. If you want to put it up on the stage here. If you're not watching the video, sorry. You're going to miss out on seeing Liu Kang's wonderful feathered hair.
Oh my gosh. Perfect. You know, hair I can only dream of, I think.
Same.
Right? What if the next time we appear in this video episode next week, we both have this exact haircut?
You might be able, your hair might be long enough.
It's probably long enough, but could we both get perfect wigs for this? Hi, I'm looking for a perfect feathered hair wig to look like Liu Kang.
And they say, "Oh, Liu Kang? We have that wig." And they're like, people come to the store often for Liu Kang wig.
Yeah, that's so funny. Oh, by the way, Shao Kahn is definitely the name of the Emperor of Outworld. So I just confused two Mortal Kombat characters, everybody. Everyone, please forgive me. But Shang Tsung really acts this movie and makes it so good and just does a great job. So I just want to throw that out there.
And that guy goes on to be in a lot of other kung fu movies and stuff before this too. He's kind of I think he's a known quantity in
like a famous character actor in like fighting movies,
like Margot Martindale and BoJack Horseman.
Oh yeah, dude, Sonya Blade, amazing. Also, this is a PG-13 movie. Sonya Blade is breaking necks, which seems pretty intense,
pretty violent.
PG-13. And I've heard in multiple versions of the TV edits of the movie, those are the things that get edited out is the sounds.
Oh,
there's a lot of bone crunching in this movie that we didn't really notice when we were watching it, but there is. And that's
she's really messing people up in this movie, like big time.
Yeah. Katana, great character. Wish they had more going on.
Yeah, that's the one that's like 10,000 years old. But looks 25.
Kind of just like used as sort of a plot device almost. Barely has a personality. Kano has more of a personality, but also not a nice person, you know, not really likable. But I do think they do Scorpion, Sub-Zero, and Reptile really well. That's one thing I liked about this movie as a kid, is I thought they nailed it. Also, Scorpion's hand thing, so disturbing that I do not like it though.
Yeah, and it's pretty good visual effects for 1995.
Yeah, it's not bad. Reptile's visual effects, not so much, but the hand thing is better. So
yeah, most of the effects are practical in this movie.
Goro,
Scorpion, obviously not.
Goro looks great in this movie.
Yeah, Goro.
And by great, I mean unsettling.
Yeah,
because long torso to fit those two sets of arms.
Yeah, yeah. Does he have two rib cages, like separate rib cages?
How that would work. Where are the joints? Like, does he have two? He's a rotator. He has a rotator cuff in the middle of his chest.
Yeah,
it's kind of.
I'm questioning the physics of this.
Yeah, you know, it's unrealistic. Never mind. Let's delete this episode. We're never releasing it. Okay. So that's Mortal Kombat. I think overall, I like it. It's got a special place in my heart, but at the same time, I would say that I think I enjoyed the Super Mario Brothers movie more.
I agree. It's a Super Mario Brothers movie is a little bit campier, I think, which contributes. Like when you're watching these movies today, you're sort of watching them through the lens of like, okay, I'm going to watch a movie from the 90s. It's going to be a little ridiculous, but I'm just sort of along for the ride. Like I just sort of accept that. And I think the Super Mario Brothers movie is a little more fun when you think about it that way. This movie on its own, if you're not a Mortal Kombat fan, if you're just watching it to watch a movie because you clicked on it, you saw the cover and you were like, oh, cool, a fighting movie. It's probably not that good of a movie.
Yeah. What are your power rankings right now? We've done 3 movies for the TV show, for Codex, for the podcast.
I wish we had a TV show.
Yeah, I mean, this feels like a TV show. We did
video. Okay, so we have Mortal Kombat,
Doom was the first one we did in Super Mario Brothers. I think for me, my rankings right now is Super Mario Brothers up top.
Yeah, agree.
Mortal Kombat and then Doom. I don't like the Doom movie. I think the Doom movie was my least favorite of all of them. Because I think there's a
Yeah.
delightful amount of camp to the Mortal Kombat movie, where the Doom movie was made in like the mid 2000s, and they were really trying to make it work, and it just didn't really work.
Yeah,
Right?
I think I agree with you. Like they had too much technology available to them, but to like make real visual effects that looked okay, but they didn't quite go far enough, and it just movie's just not that good. But it does have Carl Urban in it, and I appreciate that.
You know, we do love Carl Urban. We stand Carl Urban in here.
Yeah, I
Okay.
hope he didn't do anything bad. I don't know. I feel like
It-
every time I'm like, I love this celebrity, it's like if you Google it, it's like, oh, they actually murdered puppies or something.
okay, seamless transition. We're
Yeah.
gonna go right into it now to the mailbag. So it was a quick little Mortal Kombat talk. Now we're gonna go into the mailbag. So we're gonna do our
Okay.
emails first, right?
Yeah. Do you want me to jump in take this one from Sean in Portland?
Yes, I gotta find that one, but you go ahead and start reading Sean from Portland's email.
Okay. So Sean says, Mike, you recently expressed an interest of filling out your video game genres with fighting games. Capcom is releasing a Marvel/Capcom compilation this year, which are some of the most fun fighters of all time, and they haven't been available for 20 plus years. Also, Street Fighter 6 has some of the best beginner-friendly modes and training of all time, even though the high-end gameplay is still crazy. There's a world tour mode where you can create your own avatar, and if you haven't already, check out the freak show that is what people have created. It's hilarious. Thanks for your awesome podcast, Sean in Portland. So it sounds like you got some fighting game recommendations here.
I like it. I'm gonna do it. This is me doing my fighting. You know, in every fighting game, they have like a pose that they do where they're like,
yeah, you got your like idle animation.
Yeah, that's my idle animation. I'm ready for a fighting game. This is good. I also love Marvel versus Capcom, so it's good to know that they're releasing that kind of collection.
Yeah,
So,
there's a bunch of those games too.
there are, and they're really fun. And I remember playing them in arcades as a kid. That's like I played fighting games in arcades as a child, but I never got into it at home. Really, I did play Soul Calibur 4. No, 2.
2 is the one on
2.
GameCube that had Link.
Yeah, I played that one, and I played the Xbox version. So
that
and that had Spawn.
Spawn, yeah.
Yeah, so I played that, but that was really fun. So I will check that out for sure. Thank you for the recommendation, Sean in Portland. We appreciate you. Okay, so here's the deal with this next email. This came in on June 10th. That's how long it's been since we've read these, right? Initially. So this is an email. Remember when we were having the real gamer debate? We kind of got a little lost in the console wars. The podcast email section did. Yeah. So this is a rebuttal. It's called a rebuttal to a rebuttal, aka everyone is wrong, is what it says. So
everyone's wrong. All video games are bad.
Yeah,
shut it all down.
This is from Squirrel Mancer. Here we go. Okay. To win 100 victories in 100 battles is not the acme of skill. To subdue the enemy without fighting is the acme of skill. That's from Sun Tzu. It opens with a quote, Tyler.
Wow. Opens from a thousands of years old quote, which you know, if the quote has endured that long, it's probably true.
Probably true. Friend of the podcast, Bruce Lee once stated, simplicity is the key to brilliance. End quote. You see, this foolish debate of console versus PC, bad versus a different type of bad, is misguided. The argument always hinges on the future. Our console is the future of gaming. Future is in all caps. Our NVIDIA graphics chip card version 2.0-69 is the future of graphics processing. While I am sure that this is a feat of technology, we're talking about gaming. And to truly find the true best way to game, we must instead look into the past. This is why I present to you the Nintendo GameCube. The human brain can perceive 30 to 60 frames per second, it says in quotes. PC manufacturers and console makers alike advertise their innovative frame rates. The PS5 is capable of running up to 120 frames per second, which sounds cool in theory, but frankly, what's the point? Humans can only see up to 60 frames per second, so going any higher would be pointless. Now, I know what all of you are thinking. You pretentious PC people will say, but isn't the GameCube a console? No. The GameCube is more than a console. It's more than a simple device. The GameCube is an idea, a thought, a concept that transcends humanity itself. You see, the first ever game invented, Monopoly, revolves around 2 dice shaped like cubes. This shows that cubes have been a part of entertainment since the dawn of culture. The GameCube has seeped its way into every facet of our existence. The pixels on the screen that you are reading this on it, in fact, tiny GameCubes.
I can't dispute this fact.
from the popular documentary Star Trek VIII First Contact, a cube. Resistance is futile. The GameCube is no mere console, not anymore. The GameCube has transcended a way of life, and it is beautiful. One day, when our civilization is long gone, a layer of plastic waste that we have left on this planet will remain. The GameCube must be a part of this waste. Billions of years later, the Earth will be consumed by the sun. Many, many billions of years later, the sun will explode, lighting up the solar system in one final hurrah. Ashes from our dying sun will shoot across the sky, and everything that makes up humanity will go back to the cosmos. Perhaps one day, these atoms will join together and create a new planet. Perhaps life will flourish on this planet, and they will create a GameCube of their own. Perhaps the Earth was formed from a massive alien GameCube. The GameCube is everything. It is what was, what is, and what will be. Rear area of small arthropods in the erective family. Scroll answer. Also, it says, P.S. This is entirely a bit. But, thank you, Squirrel Mancer. I just want to, it's kind of sold me.
I fully agree. Yeah, sorry. PC games, nope. GameCube, that's it.
It's all
the end all be all.
There's no console war. It's only a console empire that's led by the GameCube. That's what it is. That's what we've learned today. Okay, so good to know. Thank you so much, Squirrelmancer. Sorry the joke would be way more topical if it happened 2 months ago. I apologize for the timing of the bit, but I still thoroughly enjoyed it.
I thought it was pretty funny.
Me too. Also, the comparison to the board cube was great.
Yep.
As well.
You can always get me with a good Star Trek reference.
Yes, we do love a Star Trek reference
from the documentary.
Do you want to read this? I'm trying to see who it's from because we don't have a
Yeah. Oh, I don't have the
from. I guess we can just say Cree because we don't have any other names, so I don't want to.
Yeah. Okay. So
dox anybody.
It begins. Guten Morgen, casual Codex comrades. That must be German? Guten Morgen. Is that like good morning in German?
I think so. Yeah.
Sure. My daughter is 4 years old, and of course, her name is Aerith. Enough said. I've been a gamer and a fan of professional wrestling for as long as I can remember. However, I grew tired of only vibing wrestling podcasts and reruns of the Gaming Historian. So, naturally, my quest began much like a Metal Gear game. Whose footprints are these? There are no snakes harmed in the typing of this message. I finally came across the Codex podcast, a perfect blend of casual conversation and genuine historical gaming digest. Like what being a liar means to Grizzly Bear or a homeless man to that stank. Okay. This gaming podcast just feels right. Okay, I'm on board. I'm with you on that. Like sitting in a room with my brothers back in the day playing South Park Racing on N64. Thank you, too, for all you do for the gaming community and the amazing gaming history. 5 stars. Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
But he has some episode requests here.
These are doozies, too. These are good episode requests.
Number 1, Conker's Bad Fur Day. Is this his favorite? Still play it on the N64. How did Nintendo manage this one? I agree. I think that game is, everybody knows about it. I think not enough people have played it because it is legitimately a very good platforming game.
I haven't played it, and I feel like a loser.
It's probably the best of the platforming games, like that rare 3D platforming run of like Banjo-Kazooie and Donkey Kong 64 and Banjo-Tooie. I think there's a couple others in there, but Conker's Bad Fur Day is like really the culmination of all those. It's really good. And it got a remake on the original Xbox, which runs pretty good in the original Xbox emulator. Either on your actual Xbox or on your PC, because XEMU works pretty good. So if you have a legally purchased copy of Conker's Bad Fur Day or Conker Live and Reloaded, that's the best way to play that game. But we can talk about that if we ever do an episode on it. The second request is the Suikoden series, which is one of the greatest JRPG series. And he says he just beat Eiyuden Chronicles Rising. I am not familiar. I've seen that game. I'm not familiar with either of these.
Oh, there's actually a correction at the bottom. It's Eiyuden Chronicles 100 Heroes is the one. It says yeah. Gotcha. Sorry.
Okay. And then the last suggestion is the Dynasty Warriors franchise or the Lost Tenchu Stealth Assassin series. Hard choice.
I don't know much about those two. I know of those two, but I don't know much about them. There's so many games to play.
I know. My
so good.
My Dynasty Warriors experience is almost 100% just Persona 5 Strikers. Which is not really a Dynasty Warriors game, but it's made by some of the same people, and it has some similarities with it. Yeah, there's also like Hyrule Warriors. There's like the Zelda version.
Yeah, I know about the Hyrule Warriors one, which is like because it was pretty much advertised. This is like Dynasty Warriors, but with Zelda, right?
And I think it's made by the Dynasty Warriors people. Like it's not. I don't think they're like. There's no there's no funny business going on there. It's like the Dynasty Warriors folks were like, what if we made a Zelda version?
Yeah, it was interesting. I would be down to do all those, honestly. We know that.
Conker's Bad Fur Day is the most likely to happen.
Conker's Bad Fur Day is the most likely because I plan on getting that on the old N64 here.
Yeah.
So
it was one of the last like big releases for the N64 that was like exclusive, you know.
Yeah, it's a good recommendation. We definitely want to cover those games again.
After the GameCube.
We're going to throw them on the old ideas list, I think. The old episode ideas list, which we go to back and forth from time to time. We're kind of still jamming on Kirby though. We got some more Kirby to do.
Yeah, we do. March 2001 for Conker's Bad Fur Day. So not before the GameCube, but like people were sort of like gearing up. They were getting ready. They were tired.
They were getting into it. Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to thank you so much for that email. And now we're going to read our last actual email here. And this is from Jordan. Okay. Hey guys, and good morning. It is a balmy 75 degrees here at 12:52 a.m. in the wonderful state of Pennsylvania. Anywho, I like the weather updates.
Thank you.
Anywho, with the pleasantries out of the way, did you guys get to play Metal Arms yet? No, nope. I haven't. I was wondering three things. So what Trello board do you guys use for keeping track of gaming? Also, this ties to the first one. What do you guys do to combat gaming ADHD? Ooh, that's a good question. My friends refuse to play with me anymore because I go really hard into a game and then drop the game like a bad habit. Even games recently that I haven't gone hard on, I find putting down either halfway or barely played. It's not like I don't like most games I played. I just can't stay focused on one long enough to beat them. I can't tell you how many games I've started and never completed. Then I come back to them and forget how to play. And boy, that's discouraging when you have like 20 or so hours and you can't get it together. Okay, here's the last thing. I like that 1 through 5 you got games you guys played during the last mailbag. So I thought I'd do one of my own. So I have picked 5 games that fit the bill. Okay. 1 through 5 loot-based games. You can't change your answer. Enjoy. So I like that 1 through 5 game you guys played during the last mailbag. Oh, remember the 1 through 5 game where we have to like, so
that's the blind ranking one.
The blind ranking. So
we have a list here that we know what they are. So,
but I haven't actually read through the list.
Okay.
So
I'm gonna.
Do you want to quiz me?
Sure.
So I have to blind rank these. I'm like looking at the camera so I don't read the text, and I'm gonna go back here, and then we'll answer the other questions after we're done. Okay. So blind rankings. Here we go. I haven't looked. So
okay. So
you can mix up the list too. Mix up the list too if you want to. Just do it randomly.
I'll just go through. I think it's actually in a pretty good order for you specifically, even.
Okay.
So number 1 on this list is, and you have to give it a ranking of 1 to 5 without knowing what the others are.
Yes.
Yeah. Borderlands 2.
That's a really good game. Delilah agrees.
Delilah, she's got opinions.
Delilah likes Borderlands 2. Of course, she comes in here right when we're doing this, and I have to silently think. I'm gonna do. I know I made a mistake last time. Remember, I like put things in the wrong order and I got stuck. So I am going to try to be safe here, but I love Borderlands 2. So I'm going to put it at number 2. I'm putting it in the 2 spot.
Okay, here I'm gonna keep track of these here. So
Borderlands 2 is in my number 2 spot right now.
Okay, Borderlands 2 is in the number 2 spot. Okay, number 2 on the list here is Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance.
Oh.
Are you familiar? I'm not very familiar with this game.
This was my introduction into Dungeons and Dragons as a universe. This was the game. This game is a top-down isometric looter game that I would play on PlayStation, and I loved it, and no one I knew played the game. So it was just kind of like one of those. Do you ever have those games where you like don't know anyone that's playing it, but you're really into it, and you don't know how to talk about it with?
Especially in those days when they didn't go online.
Yeah, and I didn't even know as a kid when I was playing it that it was Dungeons and Dragons. Like I didn't like. I kind of knew as a concept that Dungeons and Dragons existed. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what tabletop role playing was, but this is a game that was like you built a hero and you played through these dungeons, very Diablo-esque style. It's a good game. I enjoyed it, but I have not played it since I was a child. I'm going to say 3 for this one. 3.
BGDA number 3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 3rd on the list here. And I'm willing to say whole series here, not just the one game. Destiny.
It has to be number 1 or it has to be number 4?
Yeah. Or 5.
Or 5? This is terrible. This is truly awful. Oh man.
Do you think it's better? Well, do you think it's better than Borderlands 2?
I think Destiny's hard because at time, is Destiny 2 or Destiny 1?
That's why I said whole series. I think you can just say Destiny in general because the games are similar enough that they're.
The highs are so high with Destiny, but then the lows are like, I'm not playing this game for 6 months. So I'm going to put it at number 4. Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of crazy, but I'm making a choice.
Okay.
Hopefully I don't regret this choice.
Yeah. You know what? I can see where this is going, and I think you're going to end up being okay with what ends up at number 1, but we got to move on to the number 4 game, which is Bard's Tale. I'm not familiar with this game at all.
I have not played Bard's Tale ever.
Okay.
I know of Bard's Tale. It's a classic RPG. It's supposed to be very good. I've actually downloaded it multiple times because it's on Xbox Game Pass, and I've meant to start playing it, and I just haven't because taking on an RPG feels a little daunting sometimes. So I'm going to put it at number 5 only because I don't have personal experience with it, which is not a big deal.
That means your number 1 game. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Your number 1 game is The Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind.
Not a bad choice.
I thought you'd end up being okay with that.
I think that was my first really got into an RPG, like a Bethesda RPG was this one on Xbox, and also didn't really know a lot of people that were playing it. So, okay. So it would be Elder Scrolls, Morrowind, Borderlands 2, Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance, Destiny. I would put Destiny above Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance for sure.
But you can't. Sorry, this is it.
I can't. But in my ideal list would be, honestly, I think I would leave Elder Scrolls Morrowind at number 1, put Destiny at number 2. And then I would put the other 3 down at the bottom, like Borderlands, Dark Alliance, and Bard's Tale. And I know there are going to be people out there that are big into RPGs that are like, you're putting Bard's Tale at number 5. I understand that. And I bet you if I played it, I would put it higher because it's one of those like classic. This is a fantasy RPG that's like legendary to a lot of people.
You think you'd put it above Destiny?
I don't think so. It's hard. Destiny's hard because there are times where I've had some of my best video game memories in my life because of Destiny. Fighting the Callus fight, doing the Deepstone Crypt dungeon with you and like all of our friends. Some of the best gaming experiences of my life, but then we'll go and we'll just won't play the game for like 6 months.
Yeah, but I don't count that as a negative against it because I don't know, when was the last time I played Borderlands 2?
That's a good point.
15 years ago, maybe 20.
Yeah,
10, at least,
I definitely don't think Borderlands 2 should be as high up. I think maybe, you know what, you're convincing me. Maybe I should have put Destiny as my number 1. But then I would have been really upset at putting Elder Scrolls Morrowind number 4.
Yeah,
that would have bummed me out.
Yeah, but I think docking Destiny for the times you spent not playing it while not docking these other games for the time you spent not playing it is, I think, unfair to Destiny.
Well, I think the reason I'm not playing it is because I get tired of the grind. So that's my real complaint with the game, but I don't know if that's the game's fault or if that's just the nature of video games in 2024.
I think it's just nature of being a human.
Yeah. No, I think so too.
You know, because it's not like you would still be playing Borderlands 2 today.
That's true. You know what? I feel like your boy goofed again, and Destiny's number 4 when it should be up there. It should be up there all the way. But you know what? That just means Jordan got me.
Yep.
I feel like I got. So that's good. Okay, we got to address Jordan's first email question though.
Oh yeah,
because we didn't really
gaming ADHD.
Yeah, because the gaming ADHD thing is something that I am seriously having an issue with right now, where I still haven't beaten Tears of the Kingdom, and I try to go back to it, and I'm just like, I don't want to do this anymore. So I don't think it's a bad thing necessarily, but I think also as you get older, your expectations change with what a video game is. And it's why I changed my columns on my Trello board from beat in the year to done in the year, because you just get done with games sometimes where you're like, I am not picking this up again.
Yeah, I made another column for mine that was something similar because I wanted to differentiate between the games I gave up on and the games I actually finished.
So what I did is I have done as the column in my Trello board and the year, and then on the games themselves, I will make a checklist, and I
Mm.
will, if you see it's 100% checked off, that means I beat it. If you don't see that, that means I didn't beat it or I just was done with it.
Yeah.
That's kind
Okay.
of how I did it. I didn't want to do, because I like to take the mission lists on, especially those
Yeah. I
older
do that
first
too.
person shooters, and like put them in there and check them off when I'm done. It feels good.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think, I mean, we've talked about it at length on the podcast. I think we're, as you get older, your expectations for what a video game provides changes too. Like as a kid, it's like your world. Like it was my, like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater was like something I was passionate about. Like I would talk to people, and now you're like, see what it is, which is, this is entertainment and it makes me happy, but it's not as much of a part of my personality as I think it was when I was younger, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, and there's just so much more choice now.
Mhm.
A lot of it is because you're an adult now who has a little bit more discretionary income and you don't have to make a game. You buy one game and that's the only game that you have for 6 months. Um, but also there's just so much stuff online that's free, that's extremely cheap on Steam. Like the games are just so much more accessible today than they used to be. And so I think that kind of contributes to like this jumping around. I do think keeping the Trello board has been very helpful in terms of trying to stay focused on things, because I
Mhm.
will eventually have to make the call of like, oh, this game, it's still in my playing column, but I haven't actually touched it in 2 months. I will look at it and go, okay, am I done with this? Or do I think I'm not done with it? And if I think I'm not done with it, then I'm like, okay, play it tonight. If you're not done with
Yeah.
it, get back into it. Have a plan. If you don't feel like making a plan for how you're going to get back into this one, put it in the done pile and don't worry about it anymore. There's plenty of games.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm actually I was gonna play Tears of the Kingdom last night, and then my Pro controller was dead, and I refuse to play Tears of the Kingdom without my Pro controller. Like,
Yeah.
it feels right. I have stick drift pretty bad on my Switch too, and I don't
Mm,
want to like get it fixed because I feel like a new Switch is coming, which I've been
yeah.
saying to myself now for 5 years, but that's fine. So yeah, I don't think you should get upset about gaming ADHD, and if you have friends that are judging you for gaming ADHD, that's
Yeah.
not a very friendly thing to do.
I do understand I the feeling of like not wanting to play because you think they will just move on very quickly from that
Hmm.
game. I've definitely bought games that I was like gonna jump in and play, and then I didn't play, and then friends moved on from it. Like I played like 3 matches of Helldivers too,
Yeah,
and
we could still play it again if you want to.
you know what? I'm not that interested in it. I would have played it if I were interested in it.
I mean, don't tell Super Earth that.
Mm,
Mhm.
oops,
I
oops.
have a story about this though, about this very thing where a friend of mine and I were going to play a game together, and it was thrown asunder.
You gonna
I
talk about me? Oh no.
Nope, it's not you. It's not
Okay.
you. It's a comedian. Surprise, surprise. And it was a friend of mine who was a diehard PlayStation person, and he loved SOCOM. Remember the SOCOM series?
Hmm.
And they were coming out with a Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Advanced Warfare. That was the game. It was coming out on 360. He was buying a 360 to play
Whoa,
this game. He bought the 360, bought the game. I pre-ordered the game. I started playing it the night it came out. I texted him. I called him. He did not answer. I find out next time I see him that he sold the Xbox that day and just gave up on it before he even started playing it. He just
bro.
stopped. And so I was like, all right. So I beat the game. I played through all of it and I beat it. And I had fun doing it. But I was just like, the whole point of this was to play with my buddy, and we never played it together.
Dang,
So
man.
at least I didn't have to buy a console like he did, though. He
Yeah.
bought and sold an Xbox 360 probably like 2 or 3 times, I think, or like returned it immediately. Like he just
Hmm.
couldn't do it. He was a diehard PlayStation dude.
You know, sometimes the body just rejects.
Mm-hmm. It's fine. I mean, we're still friends. It's okay. But yeah, I would just say that if I wouldn't beat yourself up about it.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Be willing to let things go, but also I think having a way to track the things that, because I can imagine going down a path where you're like, I just never finish games, and that fact alone bothers me. Well, the answer to that is you got to sit down and finish games. And I've thought that to myself where I'm like, man, I really haven't been sticking with games. And then I'll just like continue scrolling on YouTube shorts or whatever. And then I'll go,
Mhm.
you know what? You have to actually play it if you're going to finish it. Like that's what that looks like. You do have to take the time to do it. So then I'll usually snap out of it, or I'll try to snap out of whatever doom scrolling I was doing and be like, you know what? Put half an hour into this game. See if you can get back into it.
Yeah, for me, it's just about starting it. Once I get started in it, I'm in.
Yeah.
It's just getting the ball rolling.
Yep.
So anyway, enough video game therapy. That's all our emails. Let's go into
Got a Discord.
Discord. I don't even know if that's the question that necessarily was asked, was video game therapy, but we're there now. Okay. So we already read these ones. So we're actually down.
Oh, did we?
Yeah, because you put the emails on the thing, which is good. So we're on Discord now, the Discord section.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So, and this is from Jurox. I said it right?
Gurrox. It's
Gurrox. Did
from
I say
Invader Zim.
I switch every time we mention.
You say Jurox every time you go, I got it right this time.
Yeah, and I say it wrong every single time. This is from Gurrox. Thank you so much. In the recent Star Trek game episode, Mike comments on his nostalgia for physical guides. Tunic had a unique way to incorporate the look of classic game booklets and benefits of reading one into a game mechanic. Are there other games that have, quote, modernized those classic experiences in a positive way for you, or ways you'd like to see those experiences return, aside from physical maps making a comeback? I would love to see people do what Tunic did in other games. Yeah. I love Tunic. I beat it. I've talked about it. My love of Tunic, and filling out that instruction booklet was extremely satisfying. I
can't think of any other games that have done something like that. I do like the like Nintendo Switch online emulator version of Star Tropics. I believe has a little thing that you do
dipping in
the paper in the water to get the secret that you need for one part of the game. That's not quite the same thing as what Gurrox is talking about here, but it's kind of cool still. But
I'm actually going to bring up what you just talked about not being into. Helldivers 2, their tutorial is great because it's short, and it also not only teaches you the game but describes the world you're in. It's all a joke on tutorials and how you are expendable. That's what the entire tutorial is. Yeah. So I like games, if you give me the tutorial and disguise it to have a point like Helldivers 2 does, that's kind of what I embrace. Yeah. I don't like a tutorial where it's like, and you see this with a lot of new games where it's lessons. It almost feels like school. Yeah. That's like, we actually covered Lego Rock Raiders, and their tutorial system was like that, where it was like individual lessons that you were clicking along, and it just didn't feel good.
Yeah, some games like kind of need that because there's just like a large burden of knowledge before you can even get started. I think a lot of MOBAs are sort of like that too, where like if you teach it to someone like pieces at a time, it's like the pieces all work together as part of a whole, and so taken alone, they don't make that much sense, and you just go, why am I doing this? This seems silly. This part of the game is not fun, and it's because that system like interacts with another system that makes it fun. Like I'm thinking like last hitting of creeps in a MOBA.
Oh yeah.
It's like, why would you do this? But it's like, oh, because you get money. The money is going to the item system, which is a whole thing on its own, like what you spend your money on. Like, so the actual act of last hitting is not inherently fun, but it does feed. It's a skill that feeds into the rest of the game. So like you need all those pieces. But I think games that teach without tutorials are like the best. I think of like the Portal series, where they never tell you like what a portal gun does. They just hand it to you, and at first you only have one portal, and so then it's like, oh, if I shoot this on the wall and I walk through the portal that's already there, oh, okay, I understand how the portal works. And then they'll usually demonstrate like a simple version of how to do something. Like if you put a portal on the ground and drop through it, you kind of conserve momentum going through it, right? And then it's like, okay, what different ways can you use this mechanic now that we've taught you that that's how it works, without having to say, if you fall through a portal that's in the ground, you'll retain momentum, right? They just sort of teach it to you. Astrobot does that as well with their new mechanics. They almost always like hand you a new mechanic, and then they make it extremely obvious what that thing does. And then you like do the thing and you go, oh, that's neat. And then they show it to you a bunch more times. And if they want to do a complex thing with it, they'll show you like a less complex version of that complex thing. And then you'll go, oh, if I punch these guys, they flip over and then I can jump on them. Okay. Oh, and if I punch them again, I can move them around. Oh, I need to get over there. What if I punch this guy, move the thing over there and jump on it, right? So that kind of stuff is cool, but that's more about tutorials and less about like modernizing old elements of like instruction manuals. I can't think of any other of games that have like taken like an old thing and made it.
That's what made Tunic so unique, I think, because that was also like solving the puzzles in Tunic are pretty complex, especially like the door puzzle at the top of the mountain. As in, I cheated. I didn't even like try to solve the puzzle. I just looked it up, and the way you solve it is by unlocking things in that instruction booklet and really looking at it and like looking in the margins of the notes that whoever like owned the instruction booklet, owned in quotes there, wrote. And it's just really, it's really different. I think Tunic did a very special thing. So I would like to see other places do that. I mean, Tunic 2, I believe, is in production, like in development. And so I'm hoping they keep that alive when they keep doing it. But
Yeah.
I was a big fan of it. So cool. Well, let's do the next Discord question. Do you want to do this one from Casino Tarantino?
Yes. Guys, I have what's, in my opinion, the best your hacking story. Me and my buddies back in high school, back when Warcraft 3 started getting huge with modded scenarios, we played a ton of Warcraft, like a ton. We used to play a lot of Pimp My Peon and Vampirism Fire. I've never played either of those. We got to the point that we weren't losing very often, and where we were building crazy fast. We got a ton of in-game messages saying that we were hacking because no one is that good. We all get set up to go log in one day, and we all get a message pop up telling us that we all got a 3-month account ban from those regions that we had been playing on for cheating. We all laughed so hard because we were playing in the same house but different rooms, specifically to avoid ever screen peeking or outing the other teams. We ended up only being able to play on Asian servers for a short period. Needless to say, we got everything handed to us, barely getting any wins on those servers. Still a fond memory that I cherish. Oh, man.
That's funny. That is funny.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I've ever done like a hacking a game thing. I have done a lot of Destiny cheese though in my day. A lot of stinky Destiny cheese, like killing Atheon by making him fall off the edge. Like that's my hacking. Like it's not hurtful hacking. Like it wasn't PvP related.
Yeah. Well, I think what Casino Tarantino is referring to here is just being so good at a game that they think you're hacking.
That is funny. I did kill a guy in Apex Legends with the greatest shots of my life, where they were really high up and I hit them with a light machine gun from really hot, like really low. And I just barely hit their head multiple times, and I killed them and downed them. And I got a message saying like, I'm going to report you for hacking. And I was like, yes, like I felt so cool because I was not hacking, but I did a good job.
Yeah.
Am I that unbelievable? But most of the time I miss. I mean, hey, you know.
Yeah. Well, nobody notices all the times that you missed, but when you land the lucky shot, suddenly you're hacking. It's like, maybe, I don't know, maybe just got lucky. I don't have any specific stories about that. I want to say it happened like way back in the day playing Counter-Strike on old servers when cheating was like pretty rampant. So like if you got 3 lucky headshots in a row, it was like, oh, this person's probably cheating. I want to say that happened to me, but I can't think of any specific incidents. So maybe I'm just making that up, thinking I'm better at video games than I am.
Yeah, honestly, it feels good. Like this is not hacking, but I know. So last night we were playing League of Legends, Tyler and I, and there was a Darius on the other team, and I was playing as Dr. Mundo, so I could throw those hatchets, right, and or cleavers, but they're briefcases.
Briefcases in that,
obviously. But I know Darius is in the bush, so I'm just blind throwing briefcases and hitting him over and over again, and that felt like cheating only because I know how Darius's play. They play dirty, so that's what they're going to be in there. But yeah, other than the Destiny cheeses, I don't think I've ever actually been accused of legitimately hacking, you know?
Yeah. And Destiny cheeses, we all agree that we're just cheesing this fight. That's a PvE
cheesing the
thing.
Computer. Yeah.
Yeah. It's all 6 of us are buds, and we're going to cheese. We're really, the joke's on Bungie here.
Yeah. And the cheese is it's part of the fun of the game. So that's it. Yeah. All right, cool. Well, that was a good one. So I'm going to go ahead and, though this is from Squirrelmancer's response to that, actually. So they're just sharing about the hacking thing. So this is what I like about the Mailbag channel is people actually talk to each other in it too. So you get their stories, which I kind of like that they share. So we're going to share Squirrelmancer's. Sort of a different story, but I recently got my Overwatch account unbanned last month because someone reported me for hacking. I was messing around as Ana, and threw an anti-heal grenade, applies anti-heal and does a percentage of the enemy's max health. I ended up throwing the grenade in a random direction, hitting a tracer, low health, normally a pretty big threat to Ana, that was across the map. After I kind of decided to target the tracer and would anti-heal and sleep at the tracer for the rest of the game, the final message the tracer sent, imagine using wall hacks in an aimbot. Anna LMAO reported, lol. I was not using hacks and in fact was doing awfully in the game.
that reminds me of at the beginning of a Call of Duty match, if you
you cook the
do your throwing knife at just the right angle, and you're like 80% of the time, if somebody hasn't moved from their spawn point, this will hit them. Yeah,
dude, that was always a good feeling when you get that throw. There was that map in Black Ops 1 where it was on top of the hill, the snowy mountain. And you could always throw the axe at the right part and hit somebody. Oh, it was so good if they stood still. That's always fun. Do you want to read Burger Champs?
Yeah. An often underlooked aspect of game design is sound design. Great sound can make or break the tone and immersion in a game. While it's impressive the degree that modern game designers are willing to go to make sure real world sounds like gunfire and engine noise as accurate as possible by recording and engineering the actual real world counterparts, it's often more impressive when a wholly original sound becomes iconic. Mario's jump, or the sound of a Mega Buster charging up came whole cloth out of someone's brain. What non-real world sounds are so engraved in your brain that they've become comfort food for you? For me, the top sound is unequivocally the hum of a nearby orb in Crackdown, followed by the ping of collection.
Ooh, you know what it is for me? It's and this was happening last night because we're going to talk about what we've been playing, but Tyler and I booted up Call of Duty for funsies because it's been years. And the hit marker sound, when you get hits in that, like that sound is like, it feels good. Or like the headshot sound in Valorant, because it's music notes. It goes dan 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 dan, like if you hit him, that kind of sound. But today, actually, my wife was watching TikToks, and it was a cat walking through a scoreboard that someone made, and they would give them points. And every time they walk through, the Mario coin sound would play. And I was like, "Are you watching a Mario thing?" I like got up and I like walked over to her.
Yeah.
So yeah, those sounds are good.
Yeah, the ring collection noise from Sonic. I feel like there are some convenience stores that sort of have that on their register when they like scan a thing. It makes that same ring noise, and I go, "Whoa!" So weird. Suddenly Sonic. Thinking of other sounds that are not real world sounds. This is maybe a little bit cheating, but the sound of Whisper of the Worm in Destiny 2, which is probably based off of some gun noise, but it's like just that, or Graviton Lance as well. There's a lot of guns in Destiny that like the sound is like half the reason I use the gun. Graviton Lance is a big one. Whisper of the Worm is a big one. Also similar to the orb collection in Crackdown, I'm thinking of the orb collection noise in Jak and Daxter. That just like I have that noise ingrained in my brain forever, probably. Same with the collecting of music notes in Banjo-Kazooie.
When you break a brick in Minecraft, the sound of like when you break like stone, it's like a knocking noise. It just feels really satisfying.
Yeah, that stuff is like it is really important to like having that noise be satisfying. It goes a long way towards making a game satisfying, I think.
Yeah, that's a good question though. I really like that Burger Champ. Burger Champ actually has another one too. I played a lot of multiplayer, but we mostly just built obscene things, which took much longer before creative. Once creative came out, this is actually about Minecraft.
I don't think this is a question. I put a few in here that I guess ended up not being questions. That's my bad.
Oh, that's okay. That's fine. Okay. Well, you know what? We just talked about Minecraft sound, and then we talked about it's okay to talk about Minecraft a little bit. I think we do need to do the history of Minecraft, but we got to get through Kirby first. We got to talk about Kirby first. So, but yeah, that's all the questions. Then I think we did it. I think we're all caught up.
All right.
So then, what you been playing, Tyler?
I've been playing Astrobot. I talked about it a second ago, gushing about how it does its tutorials, and it is, Astrobot is fantastic. And the best part about Astrobot is if you look at it and you go, I don't know about this. If you have a PlayStation 5, you have a game on it called Astrobot's Playroom. And it's like, it is the game Astrobot, but it's like a very, very small version of it. It came out with the PlayStation 5. It's kind of a tech demo for the controller, but the game itself is actually just really fun. If you play that and you like it, buy Astrobot, because it is that, but even better. It's just a classic platforming game that doesn't really do anything brand new that you've never seen before, but it does everything that it does to such a high quality level. And its love for PlayStation franchises, like all the little bots that you collect, they're like characters from classic PlayStation franchises, and they all have like cryptic fun names. It's just like, it's one of those games where as you play it, you know that they were having such a fun time making it. And it looks incredible. The music is good. It runs at a silky smooth 60 frames per second, which, as we all know, you cannot see more than.
You just wish it was on GameCube.
Yep. And it's got the physics in it are so cool. There's a lot of little spots where there will just be like a whole bunch of like balls from a ball pit on the ground, and you can just like fling them around, and it's just really satisfying. And yeah, it's like the perfect level of difficulty. A lot of the levels are pretty easy to breeze through, but then you get to some of the challenge levels, which are just hard enough to where you go, I hate this game, and if I lose one more time, then I'm quitting. And then that's the time you get it.
Nice. That's good. So it feels good. Oh man.
Yep.
Well, we also, what did you think about Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 that we played?
I thought it was funny that I played one game and went from level, and I didn't even win the game, and I went from level 1 to level 6. That was pretty funny.
Why have levels 1 through 4?
Why do they even exist? If you just blast past them in one match that you lose. And
so
then
weird.
I think I played 3 matches last night total, and I was like level 12 by the end. Like, what is that? Okay, this is kind of silly.
Also, turning voice chat off was the way to go because it was getting really annoying. Oh man.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm good on it now. Like it. I usually
scratch
play like
the itch.
Yeah, I play like 4 or 5 matches of Call of Duty a year, and I'm like, okay, cool. I'm just glad it's on Game Pass, and I didn't have to like buy it.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. I was like, well, we tried it and it was fine. And I guess the new one comes out, so I'll play the campaign of the new one. I'm an old man that plays campaigns, so I'll do that. But I've been playing Space Marine 2, Warhammer 40,000. I beat the campaign. I really liked it. Speaking of great sound, like the sounds in that game are just really bringing you into it. The whole thing, you feel clunky. You feel like a big Space Marine when you're walking, and that slow moving actually plays in because I tried the PvP of it, and it's like 6v6, and there's 6 classes, each with their own abilities, and the abilities like play off each other. So you really actually have to work as a team. It kind of feels more like Gears of War multiplayer, but with more of a aspect on how does my ability work with my teammates' ability, and we have to stick together. It's not about 1v1ing, it's about team shotting is what the multiplayer mode, but it's really cool. And I like how they do the cosmetics. Like it's very grindy, but you don't have to pay unless you want to. So I'm kind of into it. Like their DLC actually, like the cosmetic DLC package they released, it's like $40. And all it does is give you access to them. You still have to grind them. You still have to unlock them.
And part of me likes that. The other part of me is like, why am I paying for the opportunity to continue? But like,
yeah, it actually made it so I was like, you know what? I don't ever have to worry about wanting this. I don't have to worry about like actually, because like I don't have to worry about feeling like I'm missing out because it would involve me grinding out even more.
Yeah, or I could pay for something that I end up not getting is like kind of wild. Battle passes in that sense, I don't love them. I do like some games have talked about, I don't know if there's any games that do this yet, but some games have talked about like maybe I think Halo maybe does this where you can like go back and choose which battle pass you want to work on. So if you've missed out, so the game still gets the hours of engagement that they need from you playing to unlock the things, but you don't have to worry about FOMO that I paid for a thing that like now the opportunity is gone for me to get it because that feels really bad.
That's I think what Destiny needs.
Yeah.
That idea that Destiny's battle pass goes away, but the content is still there. I made a Reddit thread, the Reddit post that got downvoted into oblivion because I complained about this. And there are a lot of Destiny bootlickers in the Destiny Reddit thread of people being like, oh, they tell you right up front what you're paying for and that you're just stupid for paying for it. And I'm like, I'm not talking about like the fact that I have to pay for it. I'm talking about the practice of selling a battle pass or selling a DLC, but you don't have access to the battle pass anymore. So you're just buying the story. You're paying the same amount for less now.
Yeah.
And they were trying to defend like, well, you still have access to all the content. I'm like, that's true, but you don't have access to the battle pass anymore.
And there's like stuff in the battle pass.
There's a lot of stuff in it. There's like, especially since they added those crafting pieces that make it so you can just automatically turn anything into a deep sight weapon. Like that's actually kind of a big deal because you want to craft so you can craft things. Or like it's just it's one of those things where I'm like, this is really like, am I being picky here? Yeah. But it's also, I think, a valid, reasonable point in that.
I agree.
Yeah, it's like that. I was trying to get that to people. I deleted the post because I was just like, I don't want to deal with people calling me cheap or like an idiot that doesn't read anymore. I'm over it.
But, yeah. Just the practice of like I can pay for something that I don't get just feels pretty bad.
What I got mad at is Destiny was selling their battle pass, or they're selling their season pass like a day before everything was being removed. And it just felt really weird to me that they were doing that. And I was getting the content for like playing the missions, but those 4 battle passes from the last year, I would never have access to again. It was like, and it was full price. I mean, that just seems like kind of weird. I don't know. So
I don't.
Again, though, these are the kind of things that video games do because they know people will buy them. Like so, or they know people will spend the money and not freak out like I did and ask for a refund. And instead, like just say, well, whatever, I guess I bought it. Like, you know what I mean? So
yeah. And I don't love the response of like, well, you knew what you were getting before you got it. It's like, yeah, I did, but
it
but
felt
also
like
I don't love it. Like,
yeah, it's kind of like being like, well, they wrote it in there. And I'm like, yeah, but this is kind of like one of those situations where did you read the fine print? I'm like, why is it in fine print in the first place? It's because they're trying to hide it
it's
from
because
you.
they know
Like,
you don't like it. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. It's like that kind of feeling. So that really got to me. And I don't know. I don't even know how we got here. But the Warhammer DLC. So that's something they're doing with their DLCs. They are really doing it like everything is cosmetic that you pay extra for, though. So they're going to release more missions that just come out for free with the money they make from the cosmetics, which
Okay.
I think is really
Hopefully
cool.
they
It's like
hopefully
good for them that they're doing that business model. So I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, you did have to pay for the game, so
yeah, I paid $60 for the game, but I'm
I
like, if
don't
it
love
comes,
when full price games have microtransactions in them also.
yeah, that's
Like, if you
true.
want to put out an expansion pack, that's fine. Like, I'm paying $60 for this chunk of content. And if you want to put out more content, charge for it, that's fine. But yeah, I don't.
I would rather they do it where I would pay $30 for new missions than have any microtransactions. I agree. But you know what? To their fairness, there's no pop-ups in that game because holy Call of Duty Batman, I had to close out of like 18 windows before I could actually play the game with Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. It was nuts. So
yeah, Call of
that's
Duty
a
is
whole
like when you boot up a mobile game and you get in, there's like 8 events happening, and you're like, I've never even played this game before. I don't care about any of these events that are happening. And like that's what Call of Duty was like. Like there's this event and that event and the other event. And you're like, can I just go in a team deathmatch and like shoot guys who aren't on my team?
Would you say like, can I play the game? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Anyway, well, that was their episode today. We were like, I don't know about this one, and we hit over an hour, so we did it. Next week we'll continue with Kirby, I believe, right?
Probably.
Yeah, probably Kirby. We might do something else. I don't know.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We're gonna leave it up to chance. But happy 300 episodes again, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. It means the world to us. And with that, Tyler, would you like to say goodbye to everybody?
I would like to say that. Goodbye, everybody.